So while I was at my friend's fish fry, for those of you who are not familiar with a fish fry, it's where people gather together to eat fried fish. Really simple. Typically fried catfish. Some people do tilapia and other things, but mainly fried catfish. We also have fried chicken and hush puppies and coleslaw and all that kind of stuff. In Kansas, if you have a fish fry, you typically will include spaghetti. Um, I really don't know who came up with it, but it just works. It tastes good. Anyway, at this fish fry, and I was having a conversation. I was conversing with my friend's father, and I slipped up and said the word ain't. And he just corrected my English immediately on the spot. Didn't know me, just corrected my English. Found out he was a retired principal, so it made sense. He's an educator, so he feels like he's going to educate the world. And I respect that. But I had to mess with him. I had to say, well, you corrected my English, and you talking about ain't a word. Well, did you know that conversate is a word? He was like, no, you didn't. You better not. I said, hey, I actually don't use the word, but I learned that conversate is now a word. I don't know when it happened. I can look it up. You can look it up, but yeah, conversate is now a word. And so we just started going crazy and talking about what words are words and not words. I said, asked. Did you know that ask a question is also a word? My mom discovered this. She looked up and there's something like some British region. They actually say ask, like let me ask you a question or whatever. And actually, I guess since a group of people say it and it's accepted, that's what makes it right. And I started thinking, I was like, even the English that we speak and consider proper English, other individuals may consider it improper English. Great Britain, to be, for an example, I'm sure they don't like the way that we pronounce certain things. I was watching Jimmy Fallon, and there was an actor on there who's British, and his daughter is British, but she's born. Well, I guess she's born in America. She's not British. So dad's British, but she's American. And he kept correcting her. She kept saying, "I'm going to the pier," and he was like, "No, you're British, so you say pier. I'm going to the pier." And I'm like, just thinking. We have these arguments about what's proper, what's improper, and all these things. It's really, honestly, it's really what's accepted. Now that messes with me because I correct people's English as well. For instance, again, my English is not perfect. Let me make that disclaimer. I correct my wife's English. She'll say, "It's a dog over there." And I'll say, "There's a dog over there." Like that's how that's how I correct. It's kind of it's it's kind of subtle. It's kind of passive aggressive, but it's just I repeat it back in the correct way. My son said we was going to the store. No, now him, I'm not so subtle because he's new to the English language. He's 7 years old. And I kind of do him like my parents were educated. Well, mainly my mom, my grandmother. They sometimes we're subtle, sometimes we're not so subtle. My grandma Pearson, she wasn't really all that subtle about correcting my English. I remember one time I said, "Jason and me gonna go to the store." She said, "Jason and I are going to the store." The way you recognize it is you drop the other person and you recognize how you would say it. And then you just add the other person. I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, correcting English, people's English is actually kind of rude. It's helpful, but it's kind of rude. You have to be kind of careful about how you approach it. My main rule is that it's kind of like I have to love you to correct your English because that's the reason why I'm doing it. It's not just you representing yourself well, but honestly, like my parents said, I'm not gonna make us look crazy. So it's kind of like, it might be because we might have some judgmental people in our family, but I think every family does. I actually have a theory that If you're um, constantly worried about being judged, then maybe because you're judging. Like if you're worried that people are going to think you're stupid for saying certain things, it might be because you're judging. That's just a theory and an observation of mine. But yeah, conversate. They're both technically correct. I don't think I will ever use the word conversate because I've been using converse for so long. But they technically are both correct. And I think correcting English is okay, but I really think you should probably know the person or even have the person's permission to do so. Melissa corrects my English because I do say stuff ain't no mo. I say that too much, and actually I want to thank my friend's dad because he's made me think about um, the way I express myself a lot more since that has happened because I have a tendency to when I get really comfortable and familiar to kind of loosen up the way that I speak. A lot of people call that code switching. I remember my favorite experience of someone else doing that, code switching. I have a student who is they're from Boston and they're here living, going to school, and I worked with her for 2 years to help her, kind of figure out her pathway to graduation. Well, after right before she graduated, she found out that she was accepted to Harvard and was excited because she was going to get to go back home, take her family with her, and go back home to Boston, be around her family, and then go to Harvard. Yes, Harvard, very prestigious institution. Now, if she had shared this with me maybe, first month of knowing her, first couple of days of knowing her, she would have said, Joel, I'm so excited. I've been accepted to Harvard. That's not what she said. She said, oh my gosh, Joel, I got to have it. I was like, oh, you really are from Boston. It just came out. It was the most amazing thing in the world. And because she knew me and I knew her, she didn't feel judged. She was excited. She was like, yeah. Whenever I get excited, my accent comes out. I was like, man, you should speak like that all the time. That's amazing. But yeah. So when it comes to correcting people's English, comes to correcting people's grammar, most people find it very rude and very off-putting. And we should be very careful, especially correcting, on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you know the person. Make sure the person knows you love them before you do it, because they might just shut down on you if you're doing it just people you barely know. Again, the people that I corrected, I have a cousin who sometimes I'll politely correct his English. He even told me, he said, Joel. Well, no, because he said something like, yeah, we was, or it's a dog over there, or it's a store, something like that. And I was like, there? Or we were? I think I know the couple of things that I correct. He said, I have went. That's not proper English. I have gone. I have gone to the store. Now I'm coming home. There's no I have went. That's not proper English. And then also adjectives and adverbs getting mixed up. Adjectives describe nouns, people, places, and things. Green car, fast car. Adverbs describe an action, a verb. Like the car drove fastly past me, quickly. Fastly, quickly. I think fastly's right. Fastly sounds kind of weird. I think that's why people a lot of times drop off the ly because it sounds funny now. Because they'll say he ran quick. Well, no, he ran quickly. The ly is dropped a lot. I mean, it's to the point where I'm seeing it on TV, hearing it on radio. When someone is describing an action, they drop the ly. He ate quick. He ate quickly. He ran swift. He ran swiftly. It's just, but I mean, you never know. We might get rid of adverbs altogether. If everybody stopped using adverbs, we might all stop using them. We're pretty much doing it now. But say all that to say that be careful when you correct people's English because it's rude and it's off-putting. But if you've developed a relationship with them, maybe they might thank you for helping. Like my friend, I haven't formally thanked him for helping me by, reminding me that it's a good idea to use the English that I have learned. I have a master's degree and I have written a lot and spoken a lot, and it might be a good idea to exemplify that a little bit more. And so I do appreciate him bringing that to my attention. But I also like how my wife has brought to my attention how it's rude to correct people's English so that I don't just automatically do it. Because honestly, he corrected that guy, my friend's father corrected my English, and I was messing with him and going back and saying it on purpose. Whereas the other friend who was there having an English corrected, he shut down. He was mad. Like, y'all know that dude. He can't even talk to me like that. So, yeah, be very careful when you're doing that.